What's going on, y'all? What's the word? What's the word? What's the word? Quarter bird. Y'all hit that like button, hit the subscribe button ASAP. Now let's get straight to it. Malik Scott, head trainer for Deontay Wilder, former WBC heavyweight champion of the world. Malik Scott he's asked about the Errol Spence Jr. versus Terrence Bud Crawford fight. And, he's asked about the criticism levied towards Derrick James. And he said the same thing that I said. You can say certain things about Derrick James, and he probably could have prepared Errol Spence better. They could have studied film better. They could have had better preparation or a better game plan. But see, with Antonio Tarver, it was different. Antonio Tarver got it's personal with Derrick James and them. It is. He came across personal. Okay? And I say that because Antonio Tarver came out like he was throwing shots. Like, he was insinuating that Derrick James winning Coach of the Year in 2022 wasn't justified, or it was illegitimate, or it was falsely given to Derrick James, right? Now, it's one thing to say Derrick could have prepared Errol better, they could have had a better plan B or plan C, so on and so forth. But when you insinuate, because he was like, Coach of the Year, how? How you Coach of the Year? How you Coach of the Year last year? Dog, I'll tell you how. Derrick James had a dude that became unified champion, and Errol Spence got his third belt in the welterweight level and put on a dominant performance of Yordenis Ugas. And then he had another fighter become undisputed, the first four-belt undisputed champion at 154 pounds. That's how. He had two fighters do something significant within their respective divisions. That's how. It's not always, and it's crazy because people always think about, is trainer of the year a person who lands the best punch, has the best fundamentals? It's not just that. Trainer of the year is about the accolades that your fighters achieve in big moments. His fighters stood tall in those big moments, so he deserved trainer of the year. He had a dude that became undisputed and a dude that had 3 belts at that time, right? So that's why he got trainer of the year, especially Errol coming off of the eye injury to put on the performance he put on against Yordenis Ugas. And the way Jermell Charlo looked in that second fight against Brian Castano, oh, you damn right. That trainer of the year was justified all the way through. And I hate people trying to act like Derrick didn't deserve that or it was illegitimate or some shit like that. All because stuff went all wrong for them in the last fight. Yeah, he could have possibly trained Errol Spence better. Yeah, he probably could have gave some better advice on the corner or whatever if you feel like that, right? But I really don't think that loss is on Derrick James at all. I just think Terrence Crawford is all wrong for my dog Errol Spence, right? And y'all know I'm one of the biggest Errol Spence fans you can find on the YouTube, right? But I don't think that's all on Derrick, But Antonio Tarver was trying to take that moment to shit on Derrick. Not saying that, hey, I think they could have prepared them more. He was animate. He was throwing venom with the shit. Like, he's pissed off. Like, he wanted to fight Derrick James. And if I'm Derrick, I'm looking at that shit like, dog, you can't even don't come close to me, fam. Because it wasn't just saying he could have better prepared him. He was, how you Coach of the Year? He mad as fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? And I know it's personal because Antonio seemed bitter that he's not a trainer now. He seemed pissed the fuck off that he's not a trainer. Constantly throwing himself in the mix when these conversations of training come up, talking about all his accolades and all of that. How can they even let me get in there with these guys and he in there? Like, I hate a motherfucker like that. How he gets you? That's like when a girl let a guy hit, right? And it's a dude that you let him in. How I couldn't hit you? How I couldn't hit too? Why I couldn't hit, boy? Cause your ass ain't in the mix like that, dog. You feel me? Put yourself and get yourself in that position to get there. But don't hate on the next man because of what he got last year. Who deserved trainer of the year last year besides Derrick James? I'll wait. As dominant as Terrence Bud Crawford was against Errol Spence Jr., Terrence ain't had no fight like that last year, the way he put on a dominant performance for Bomac to get it. Like I said, the dude had a fighter that became undisputed and another fighter that unified 3 of the belts. Put on a dominant performance. Both of his dudes look like money. So who deserved it more, man? All these dudes, a lot of black trainers don't never be getting trainer of the year. They skip over a lot of these black trainers. Here come Antonio Tarver throwing salt on Derrick James' name, insinuating he don't need to get it. Other YouTubers insinuating that Derrick James ain't shit now, huh? You know what I mean? You know how hard it is to get an undisputed fighter? And Jermell wasn't going through no cakes or no cupcakes at all. Errol wasn't going through no cupcakes. Errol wasn't undisputed, but he had 3 of the belts. You feel me? Yordenis Ugas just whooped on Manny Pacquiao's ass, and arguably, really, a lot of people felt like he beat Sean Porter. You know? And Sean put up a great fight against Errol Spence and against Terrence Crawford until Terrence knocked him down twice. But Sean was making a great showing of himself against Terrence and against Errol Spence. You know? So, yeah, man, like, and that Ugas was the one that gave Sean Porter hell. And Errol Spence whooped on him easily. So, yeah, like, it's just, I don't know. I don't like Antonio insinuating like Derrick James ain't shit now, or he don't deserve that, he shouldn't have been trainer of the year last year. That's hating shit. Again, man, we've seen in the boxing world a lot of these black trainers don't get they just due. Roger Mayweather never getting trainer of the year is a fucking travesty. How? How, dog? How? Oh, he only trained Floyd Mayweather. He got a dude in there, getting busy, beating dudes, easily, outclassing them, superbly. You know what I mean? So to have another black man like Antonio Tarver trying to shit on Derrick James for getting, hey, he trained out of here. Well, Antonio, is you training your son? You feel me? I don't know. I don't even think his son was fighting. But yeah, like, were you training him? I don't know. But anyway, it just seemed real bitter, man. It seemed real bitter. It was personal with Antonio Tarver attacking Derrick James. And maybe it's because him and Errol Spence, like, over the years, Antonio Tarver has been very critical of Errol Spence. Like, in fact, like, I've seen Roy give more props. Roy been critical of Errol, for sure. But Roy's giving more props than Antonio has. Every time Errol do something, Antonio questioned it all the way around. He always just said how he seen what Terrence Crawford was so great, and Errol Spence was just like, I don't see him making no adjustment, woo, right? Now, people will say Antonio Tarver is vindicated in those sentiments because Terrence Crawford dominated Errol Spence, right? But it's one thing if you're a fighter and dudes only saying negative shit about you. Nobody's saying nothing. Derrick James. Antonio Tarver never spoke good on Errol Spence's name. Never. And I'm an Errol Spence fan. He never had nothing good to say about Errol. Regardless if you want, you can nitpick his game, but he never had nothing good to say about Errol after dominant performances. He never did. He never did. You feel me? So it's always, he was always critical of Errol. Errol saw that. Errol's the type of person, if you say something about him, he's going to say something back. And a part of me respect that, right? Like, okay, guys can be critical, right? You can be critical of people. You can criticize. You can critique me. It's fine. But the problem comes into play when every time the camera in your face about me is always some negative shit. You always talking about how I don't do it for you and how I don't do this and I don't do that and I got this and I don't do that and I'm this and I ain't really that good, or you kind of downplaying me every time the camera in front of you. It's mandatory for me to hit back as a man, okay? Now, some people going to be like, oh, these fighters are sensitive. No, as a man, dog, you can critique me, but every time the camera in your face, you saying something bad about me, I feel all hoes, like, listen, all bets is off. So Errol starts calling Antonio Tarver a drug cheat, because Antonio Tarver popped dirty, okay? He did. So Errol called him a drug cheat. Then he say, man, listen, Tarver always got my name in his mouth negatively. He needs to worry about his junior, Antonio Tarver Jr., your son, his son, who had like 10 fights in like 8 or 9 years, right? Who wasn't making no headway in his career, wasn't making no momentum, no big moves. Worry about your boy. Stop talking crazy about me, and you a drug cheat. You pop dirty. I think Antonio Tarver didn't like that. Errol hit back at him. He ain't like that. And so instead of coming at Errol, he's trying to come at Derrick James. Or maybe Derrick was defending Errol behind closed doors against Antonio Tarver, as a trainer should do. You ride with your fighter. You ain't let nobody shit on your guy that you've been training since he was a young boy. Fuck that. Anybody going against my dude, I'm going. And maybe I never heard Derrick say anything loudly about Antonio Tarver, but maybe behind the scenes, Derrick was saying some shit about Antonio, right? And now Antonio trying to hit back because it's been personal between Errol Spence and him. And people gonna say Errol Spence being sensitive. Listen, I'm an objective person, right? I'm not I tell y'all all the time I'm an Errol Spence fan. But I can tell you if some shit Errol did was wrong or bogus or whatever. Bro, Antonio Tarver ain't never had nothing good to say about Errol, for real. So I felt Errol was warranted in that. Because listen, type of dude I am, I can take criticism and critique. But every time you got the camera in your face about me, it's some negative shit coming out your mouth, then we got to talk, dog. I don't give a fuck. I'm not coming to you with, well, what can I do to get better? How can I learn? How can I improve? What can I do to be in your good graces, Antonio? Nah, fuck that. What's happening, man? Listen, you pop dirty. You out here taking them steroids. Your son ain't on shit either. What you talking about me for? Get your son in order. That's what I come like that too. You feel me? So I felt that. You know what I mean? I felt how Errol was like, why Errol did that. Because it wasn't like, he ain't say nothing negative publicly about Roy. And I don't even think it was just because, oh, it's the great Roy Jones and I don't want to say nothing about him. You know what I'm saying? I think he was pissed about the critiques that Roy was giving him, but I think he felt it differently coming from Antonio because the critique from Antonio felt different than Roy's critique, right? Roy will throw some compliments in there here and there, you know, not a whole lot, but a little here and there. Antonio would never do that shit hardly, ever. And so you're like, hold on, cool that shit out, dog. Fuck all that. You know, and I think Antonio, instead of want to go at Errol, he gonna go at Derrick James with a lot of venom and animus, you know? And I don't care how the fight played out. Terrence dominated Errol. It's the fact that regardless, people gonna say, well, he was right. Nah, man, listen. It's a certain way you talk about another man. You know what I mean? But, you know, it's a certain way you can critique people without being disrespectful. And Antonio Tarver was being disrespectful. So I don't give a fuck if the fight played out how Antonio Tarver thought. It's certain shit you say that'll make me, you know what I mean? Certain shit that you don't say. Because you know that shit can trigger you in a certain way. Regardless of, oh, he was telling the truth. Certain shit you say, you know a dude gonna respond back. If he's any type of man, he gonna respond back to you. Ain't no, oh, he was right. It's a borderline, it's a line between being sensitive and defending yourself. Defending your honor. Dude talking crazy about me, I'm like, Errol, man, fuck that. His ass a drug cheat. His son ain't on shit. And he ain't even helping his son. He talking about me, need to get his fucking son in order. I'm just cut like that, bro. You know, I'm a cool, nice guy. You know, but you talk crazy, you keep hitting at me, I'm gonna hit back, dog. Antonio Tarver now feels vindicated because they was going back and forth, but now he's throwing the animus. Instead of throwing it to Errol, he's throwing it to Derrick James. You feel me? All that acting like, oh, how he trainer of the year. I'm questioning that dog that man getting trainer of the year, dog. When black trainers don't be getting it all the time in recent years. They get snubbed, and now you as a black man trying to tell people he don't deserve to get it? What the fuck? Machiavelli Mills TV, I'm out. Peace.